Good morning. Yesterday, we talked about the concept of power bars and the weakest link. Boy, did that hold up to be the truth. Always putting that in the context of the trends. So when the Qs and spiders went up too. But this was the idea. It showed you it happened several times, different degrees. There was the power bar, and it rallied up. There was the power bar down, and it rallied up. And so that was the power bar down. It proceeded and this chopping around. This was the superior setup, but of course, and just rallied. So the idea is that wide range bar creates the void, and it implies it's going to go lower, and it could have went lower. And we had a big red day. No big deal. It could have went down another day toward support, but it sets up a bias, you know, that it could go lower. And then you need a, as in whenever you have a bias, you have to have a confirming pattern to act on that bias. And so it rattled around pre-market, and then the rally started up. And so today, so far, things are consolidating at the top of the wide range bar, which is normal. And you can see where my cursor is. Um, so the previous day's bar, there's two of them up there. So I'm just looking at the daily chart, but you'll see how it lines up on the 65 minute. That's the area of support. Should it pull back, this is where we want to see buyers begin to show up. And most of the times, we're always going to look for that, but most of the time you get a narrow range day, as it's starting lower like this. But as always, we just have to see how it sets up. Meaning, you usually get a narrow day after a wide day, and so maybe it won't be such a great setup to consider longs there. However, we never know what exactly will happen, but the bias is based on trends in multiple time frames. So, the 65 minute is up. I just went to the regular chart there, and that's up, and this is up. So it could go up, but this got this void here. And I think this is a bad tick. I don't think that's a real bar. It was just going up. So it could pull back further. I mean, in reality, it shouldn't because of the uptrend, but as we know, anything can happen. And if that was to occur, right, you're going to see intraday that things are a bit bearish and it could start trending down because this doesn't have any support. But this is what we call minor support. And if in a bullish trend, that's going to hold. But it does have a void of support. And we talked about that extensively in MT Live yesterday. I think his name was Ben that was asking. He was confused about the concept. And many people do become confused about the concept because they haven't heard it before. But when they understand it, it's a light bulb moment, as we say. It's a very powerful concept when you combine that with trends and the other things. So far this morning, things aren't moving too much. They're just consolidating yesterday's gains, as the Qs anyway. You know what? I got to bring something up here. Give me a second here to check the quotes on the options. Yeah. Options. Okay. Just seeing where they're at. All right. Let me go to SPY. And, similarly, there was the big power move and, big red day to go down. So respect the trend. It is getting a bit extended. You could say a little frothy. It's not climactic. You give the benefit of the doubt to the trend. Where things are at here, right at the top of yesterday's range. Not a big deal. SPX, and just barely held. So yesterday, watch your option quotes, as we do in the green room every day, to see what the high volume strike is. And again, it told us, give or take a few points, what the high, where the high should be. And it was 67.50 was the high volume strike. So no correction signal yet? No, Jose, no correction signal yet. You can see the breadth over here. I didn't bring up the other platform, but sentiment still hasn't reached an extreme. This is just the day-to-day breadth. So for an up day, it's nothing of significance. What you really want to see, and just like with a down day, you want to see this getting pegged like down, way down here. Right? It did hit minus 1,000 on the down day, which is respectable. But when you see a down day and you get a minus 1,500 close on the AD line, odds are it's going to go lower. So yesterday, the AD, this is just the raw number, not necessarily an AD line per se, that's a cumulative of this number. Wasn't such a strong day. I mean, looking at the move up, yeah, it was just, based on the price, but it's just a recurring theme that lately there isn't a lot behind it under the hood. So let me just see here. So 67.85. You can see moving up 25. Typical after a day like yesterday. So way up there. And the bottom. 6,700. Okay. That came up 50. So that bearishness from the previous day dissipated. Well, of course, all those option traders that bought those puts lost their money. 6,700. So if we get a down move, this is my thinking anyway, if we should get a downward movement and there's something below yesterday's low, it should be a no-brainer. I'm just thinking because of the trend of this consolidation going down to yesterday's low clearly would be bearish, because now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of going sideways. So this is a significant level of support that should not be violated. And you see how many times it was bumping its head, bumping its head there. It clears it. And so now, if you saw a chart with a red bar closing below that, even though it's in an uptrend, short term, it would be bearish. Not any rocket science going on here, just common sense price action. So there you have it. Let's look at other markets. Interesting. Interest rates are doing nothing. And, that's interesting in the face of, gold that just is in a monster bull trend here. And every little dip is being bought. It got to close above 4,000. And traders just keep doing the same thing that's working, buying dips and until it stops working. So, it tried to go down. It appeared, and look, it stopped at that minor support. It held there, which is bullish, even after the little breakout failure, which is, a short-term bearish signal. And so now it's rebuilding. So the question is, does it continue? Which we'd assume it does, even though it's extended from the 20 here. But this, on a short-term basis, this level is a significant support area, just like this, as it went sideways. Sideways movement builds support. And if it's violated, that's bearish. In a bullish trend, it holds what was resistance becomes support, right? More basic foundational information. All right. So S&Ps, you can see just consolidating, little narrow range days so far. Pivot lows, pivot highs opposing each other. So bullish consolidation after the up move. For now, Greg What are the SPX new number? I just showed them, DP. Did you not see them? I can go back. I'm sorry I didn't see your post. I'm gonna look in the charts, and so there you have it. You can grab them. I know you like to capture that. There you are. Dollar. You know what? The last couple of days, I've been talking about the dollar holding up for at least a month or two in the face of these lowering interest rates, because when you see a chart like this where short-term interest rates are just collapsing, and you see the dollar, where did I put the dollar? Not going lower. It's unusual. So look at the weekly chart. That's a bottom. But what I hear on CNBC is gold is going up because of a weak dollar. Well, the dollar isn't rallying in an uptrend, but it isn't going down, which it typically would. And, you know, it looks like it's going to go higher, just basing. Well, it's basing. It can clear these pivots up there, so it's coming up to resistance. Um, but the dollar, no doubt, is bottoming out. All right, let me continue. Um, Bitcoin, consolidating the gain. A little erratic, normal, not a big deal. Uh, the Russell looks like, it's not doing anything this morning, but neither is anything else. That looks like it's going to go higher. You got your major support down there. The NQs, where they looked at the Qs, bullish. Right? Can you ever imagine? I mean, I've been through this before. You get a little sick of it being so freaking bullish. It's like, give it up already. Pull back. Make a little bearish excitement. But it's just not happening. Weekly trend, uptrend, new all-time highs. Um, Oil, right? It broke down and it's coming back. It's in an area of resistance. So we'll see what it does there. It's under all these converging moving averages. And yeah, silver breaking out again at $50. Maybe that stalls it. But look, traders are just going after what's working, and that's obviously working. The 10-year just not doing anything. So whatever the inflation thing is related to gold, I think gold is just more related to the deficit, and a lot of people talking about you know what's going to happen. I've been talking about that for a lot of years, but we'll see. SMH is negating the red bar, bullish. So can it go sideways and then higher? I think today more or less is just going to be, as far as the daily charts, is likely to be a consolidation day. It's just typically the way it is. Um, but it's at resistance and it's holding there. So that's a positive. The home builders, maybe they found a little floor there, but they need interest rates to drop a little to help them. So maybe this is really not a put spread pattern. We need something more convincing. But if interest rates started to drop, maybe we'd see some of the individuals start holding up. Yeah, I mean, Home Depot's coming down to its 200-day moving average. And the weekly chart, is pulling back to minor support. So this could be where it starts to stabilize. I would just set an alert and keep an eye on it, see what it does. And other than that, I said it's a wait and see. The regional banks move up maybe. So as I'm you can hear my tonality, but because I see something like this, it's like, okay, you pulled back enough, you had this move up, some sideways price action, correction through time with a constructive weekly chart, maybe it could start to make the turn here. So at times prices correct downward, and from there, if bullish, they start correcting sideways, and that opens up the door to back up. And if you got a weekly chart aligned with that, an uptrend at support, that's what we want to see. So, yeah, I think today we're just gonna, we're gonna look for, what the markets are doing, how things shape up, stabilizing up, down, or sideways, and of course the individual stocks that are doing their own thing. XLF not doing much of anything here. Earnings, I believe, start coming next week for the financials. So that's going to be a key as to what's going on. And of course, what are the politicians going to do besides more jawboning about the bullshit? All yours, Dan.
Good morning. So I have a shorter list today, but we got some good stuff here. Let's take a look. And I posted a bunch of put spread ideas. So as the market's burning off steam. All right, same routine every day. Yeah, Alex, you're right. A lot of these banks, big banks, sold off when the close. I looked at a bunch of them. Wells Fargo, Goldman, etc. Alarms, VNT. We're in trail mode. I guess had an up alarm go off. I don't see it, but we got a short there. MGM, we're in trail mode. Stops over this 15-minute base. Looks great. Big, beautiful 15-minute chart. I said yesterday, it's not a swing because it's up 3 bars, gap fill, but that's a nice 15-minute chart for day traders. Yum. I had an up alarm go off, but if it can get over this little pivot over here, I like that as a put spread idea. Paul, I had an up alarm. We're in trail. Yeah, my 136 went up. Um, so Greg, we're we got we got half left. And I said yesterday, I wish this thing gapped up like to 140 or something. And then I'd just sell a 5-minute low or the open or whatever. But this has been a great trade. So I'll reset the alarm 137, 132, 33. I'm going to keep a tight leash on the back part. We're still trailing silver here, half lot left. Amazing run. Jemiah, we bought yesterday into the close. I had an alarm go off, but I don't see anything. SFM, Climo. Now, since we don't have a potent turn, what's today, Thursday? So Monday, this red bar. If it can get over that red bar, then we'll have a 3-bar turn for a put spread. GSK, I would love a new low and bottoming tail for a buy setup. XME, up alarm. We'll be short in this one of these days, but it's just not yet. Not yet. Look at that. Every red bar just gets negated, but it's getting farther away from the 20. Okay, this was in last weekend's. Yeah, I lost pre-market. That's why I'm not saying anything. There you go. That's why. So this is a Climo multi-bar turn. Yesterday's MT Live, we talked about turns. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a gap from a 5-bar turn. This is in the weekend ladder as a put spread, but I like it as a directional too. And then maybe 30-minute high. And that's all my alarms. Let's go to earnings here. Delta airline typically starts off earnings season. So that's bringing all the airline stocks up. That's a big gap on an ETF dog like this. To be gapping up $3 is massive. So if somebody wants to drill down to the individual stocks, you know, okay, we just looked at. I'll do a couple real quick. AAL too sloppy. UAL 103. Man, that's a big gap. That wow, I can't remember the last time I saw one company have such a big influence on all the cousins. That's massive. Got Blue is actually lagging. That's doing nothing. I'll say it doesn't exist anymore. Love. There you go. That's a better one. That could be 30-minute high. Right, back to earnings, AZZ. That could be a gap and snap. That's a big gap down after a climb far from the 20. Arteli likes Wendy's. Let me put this in a window. AZZ. Arteli. Wendy's. It's down 3 bars, new low. It's gapping up a little bit. You know, if you were going to short a sell setup, it would have been this 4-bar turn at the 20. You're late, so I'm not crazy about that. That's gapping up 5 1/4. That's too sloppy. Pepsi was up a lot more. Now it's at 140. If it closes with a bearish inside bar, that's actually a short for tomorrow. Tilray dog. I wanted to sell the 150 puts, but it was only 7 cents. For that, this one's been on my list for a while because it's holding a lot better than and Michael Jackson. Did this have another reverse split? I don't remember this being at $40. I thought this was all right, so I'm gonna watch Michael Jackson here. That's a pseudo bull rectangle. We are in MSauce and the ETF letter. That's not doing anything, but it's fine. NEOG 640 gap breakout, but I don't like the way that trades. Healy 23, that's a nasty gap down. Remember this thing? You had an expected move of $5. I was contemplating selling the 20s. Had I? I still would have had a profit because it's an ugly gap, but it's still $3 away. I don't have a bias on it. No. 25-20, that just, this is what I call a headache pattern. I just don't trade overlapping bars like that. It gives me a headache because there's no pattern. It's yuck. All right, watch list items, ANET. I'm waiting for an inside bar or two for directional, but I like it as a put spread now over the high. FNET. I'm glad it's down. My alarm is up here at 86.50. Cliff Clavin, I would love to sell puts, not enough juice. GSK, we talked about. Wolf, recent IPO, gapping up again. I think John or Thomas told us about that yesterday. Interactive Broker, I like as a put spread. Snow, another 1, 2, 3 closing breakout. I like this as a put spread and directional. I didn't check put spread, I need to. A CMG bottoming pattern, not ready. Circle, I got an alarm up here at 150, 150. It's a bottoming pattern. If it can, it's called bullish price action right now. So if it can continue to go sideways in the upper half of this WRB, it has a void all the way to, 170, 180. So that is on a directional watch list. Reset my alarm, 150, 150. Yeah, Costco, I posted as a put spread pre-market, nice gap. So now that it's continuing to go, probably I seriously doubt we're gonna get filled. They had some type of numbers out. But this was my pre-market post. Hey, okay, yeah, I got it in the window already. Greg mentioned this one, the main DGNX gapping up to $40. That's a beautiful gap and crap candidate. So I got it here in my middle chart, 5-minute chart. I'll be watching that. Oh, I don't even know if it has options. Let me make sure. DGNX, yep, 8 DTE though, and they're spready, but we'll take a look when it sets up. Fly. I think it can go to the gap fill here. Gapping up $1. Put spread idea also. FLAR. Another bottoming pattern it's trying to repair. It's not ready. Sequinome gap breakout. Sloppy as can be. It's an ADR, but these are perfect put spread candidates. We're just saying, I'm betting that it's not going to go under the support. A BBV alarm. I was hoping for a bottoming tail. May not get it. But this I like. All right, look at that DGNX already falling. So this could be 30-minute high. I'm going to reset my alarm 234, but it's a nice buy setup. BBV 234 alarm now. I had it at 233. But I personally don't like trading in the first 5 minutes unless it's a gap trade with a beautiful pre-market. But that's a total gap and crap setup. It's a Climo or from the 20. Now you're gapping up $10. That is a textbook gap and crap setup. Just a matter of your 5-minute setup and how aggressive. Circle alarm hit my 152. I'll reset it. Diamonds the strongest here today. Reset alarm on circle. Diamonds. Well, no pattern. And Gemini, I gave as a put spread. I don't know. Oh, that's one. Okay, I do see earnings. There was one stock I couldn't find earnings. So let me give you Gemini. Oh, so now earnings are showing. It wasn't showing pre-market. It shows 11.6 now. Gemini, let me check. I think 23.21 for next week. 23.21 is 35 cents. Then I said 33. All right, perfect. I'll send mine at 35. It's a little spready. See if I get filled at 35. Hughes weak, Google down, Apple had a little ugly 5 minute reversal. So yeah, the things are mixed here. Nvidia was on fire pre-market, gapping up. I got Nvidia gapping all the time high. So I don't like Mobley. I don't like that at all. Cisco, yeah, 1, 2, 3 would be great. I don't like the entry here with an end of day rally. X Pro. Man, 5 minute market is flopping all over the place. X Pro looks good. X Pro looks good. That could be a 30 minute high. Yeah, I like that one substantially better than Mobley. Substantially better. You got, you know, much better. All right, I had a race down here. Let me put X Pro here, and that would be a great 30 minute trade. Check. I'd do the 12.5 puts for, I'd love to go for tomorrow. There are no weeklies. 12.5 for next week or 0 by 40. So forget that. All right, this ALK is not going to get filled. And we got to wait for another setup. That was in the, it actually was in the advisory letter because of the time. It was more than 10 BTE. Our meta's ripping. We still ripping on the 15 here. Let's see if we met our target on the put spread. We got 690, 685. 90, 685, 13. Oh yeah, we should have been filled there. It's 12 now, but I wrote that just in case you didn't get filled at 10. 10 was the target. Oh, we did close half yesterday. All right, so the next target was 8 cents. So that's fine. So half of 42 is 21. All right, so we're done with that. HL. That's, you're just chasing. It's just not my style. Your entry could have been, 12.56 yesterday. Gemini. Strange. I put an order up on Gemini put spread. I don't see it here. I mean, there was some big warning on it. Huh. It's weird. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, love it. Yeah, the short to low will join you. Let me check puts also. Let me check puts. Obviously, we'll go up to next week, circle up alarm. So I like buying. They're a little spready. So now we gotta do the stuff.
X Pro breaking out.
Yeah, I just said I like it. I guess I got it on my list. Yeah, I said I like it a lot. Yep, I got it in the window right here, bottom right.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so yeah, let me go ahead and give it.